And Rishti, coming back to what you said about mental health, I think so it plays a very vital role in everyone's life, I guess. And so, how did you deal with all the criticism? And of course, you are a female into this field, so you must be facing a lot of criticism, exploitation, and everything. So, how did you deal with all these things?
I think I'm just like everyone else. Initially, I couldn't deal with it very well. And
Yeah,
slowly, given the circumstances and given, the other bigger goals I had in mind, I found ways to tackle each of these. And now I think a lot of these, they kind of repeat. So I'm kind of used to it, seeing the same
yeah,
thing again. But I think the best thing is to understand like why you're getting, why it's bothering you and trying to figure it out more objectively than trying to be emotional about it because that really doesn't, it's not a very productive way to get
yeah,
anything. And not saying don't be an emotional person, but, you know,
yeah.
try it out
Just
and then go
ignoring
figure
the
it out.
negativity. Yeah. Yeah. And Rishti, as you grow, you must have talked to such legendary people around you. So what do you learn from them? And along with learning, what do you want to implement in your career or maybe as a person to, become a better version of yourself?
So a lot of athletes I have actually met here and spoken to, if you listen to their
Yeah.
stories, they're equally inspiring and
Yeah.
equally they've
Yeah.
been through the same things, if not worse. So for me,
Yeah.
when especially traveling so much and all that, like the one thing I realized is we're all in the same boat, and it's not like
Yeah.
they're anything better than me or worse than me. We're all the same people. We've all kind of come here because of the same reasons, similar reasons, and
Yeah.
a lot of us have had similar struggles, which is brought us here really. Sometimes it's those struggles that bring you here. So I wouldn't, want to like sugarcoat it and say this life is really easy and amazing and struggles are
Yeah.
not going to be there. But
Yeah.
what you realize with time and especially hanging around these players is
Yeah.
it's part of the journey, and as
Yeah.
much as I mean, as long as you're willing to kind of, listen to each other, talk to each other, discuss these things and share it with people, then maybe somebody else will deal with fewer struggles, but like it's part of the journey. It's what it's, there's really no escaping all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to
Yeah.
tell people really is like you're going to face discrimination everywhere you go at some point in some
Yeah.
way or the other. So find a way to kind of understand the patterns instead of trying to feel like, oh, this is just about me, and
Yeah.
see how you can, like work with that more in the future.
Yeah. I think so. Keeping a very positive mindset is very important as an athlete because it distracts you a lot, right?
Yeah, and like I was saying again, there's a lot of things that repeat. So sometimes, I don't really spend that much energy on time
Yeah,
on the same things again and again because I've gone
yeah,
through it before. I know how it feels, and I really don't want to do
yeah,
it again. So I just ignore it or try to, brush it away and move on and that's,
yeah,
I guess, what people look at it as being positive. But yeah, because you need to get other things done, and there are things you can't control. So
yeah,
instead of spending your energy and time on that, just, you know, focus on other things that might work out and that you can control better.
yeah. People always see the success side, people always see the positive side, but there are a lot of struggles behind it. There are a lot of negativity and criticism which you have to overcome and, and step forward. So it's a very true saying. I mean, and Brishti, moving on, any steps which you want to take for the girls in India who want to pursue their career into football for giving them a good platform and all?
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, but I have a degree in kinesiology and allied
Yeah,
healthcare, and my
yeah,
research is with neurophysiology side. So I do have a lot of things I want to share with the girls in India through like online
yeah,
coaching or whatever, in
yeah,
whatever ways I can. I've done workshops in the past as well, so I
yeah,
really want to like do that, but I'm still, trying to figure out like be a little more stable on my own right now in my
yeah,
career.
yeah,
So
yeah,
as soon as that's done, the first thing I'm going to do is, start like more actively uh,
yeah,
teaching people online maybe and
yeah,
using the knowledge because I think a lot of the stuff that's helped me come here uh, might help these kids fill in their gaps at an earlier stage in their football life, and maybe like they won't have to spend so much time on it, and they might get contracts at a younger age and
Yeah.
be more, influential in the game in India or
Yeah.
outside India. So I'm hoping to do that. Really want to,
Yeah.
but still trying to figure,
Yeah.
stand a little more firm on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. So in future, any ways when you talk about future, have you thought of opening some kind of academy or coaching, online coaching classes for these girls?
Online coaching, yeah, I've actually been
Yeah.
working on some
Yeah.
modules right now.
Yeah.
I'm working on some modules for some online coaching, but
Yeah.
academy and all, maybe like, I don't know. It's a lot of business and
Well, later
marketing.
on. Yeah.
I'm very scared of all that stuff, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. And Brishti, the very last question I want to ask you that how important is to have a good representative and how does it impact an athlete's life?
Yeah, so a lot of agents and representatives have contacted me in the past, and I always was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know anything about it, so I was like, no, I'm fine on my own, and I've come here.
Yeah.
A lot of everything that's happened till or up to this year was just on my own, but thanks to
Yeah.
COVID, I met two people, and therefore they have a sports. They just opened their sports management firm now. It's called Villi Sports,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you how happy I am that they're there right now because this past
Yeah.
year has been crazy. And the difference with them, and the reason I'm working with them is because they're very
Yeah.
passionate about sports. They're
Yeah.
very passionate about making a difference, and they understand that what an athlete really needs. Like an athlete is
Yeah.
not just somebody who's going to play and make you money. That's not what an agent is for. An athlete
Yeah.
is a person who has a life, and they understand that the athlete really needs a support system that so they can focus on the game. And I think that's what other if there are other agents listening, if it's really helped me is that really like work on the holistic picture, work on the bigger picture and what the athlete needs before
Yeah.
before the playing season, after the playing season, during the playing
Yeah.
season, in life, financially, economically. Like these are things a lot of athletes are struggling with,
Yeah.
financial things.
Yeah.
Just find getting the support to sustain a career. And women's football is one of the hardest
Yeah.
sports to sustain a career in right now, still, unfortunately. And so if you're working with footballers, I think you have to understand that we are part of a bigger system, and
Yeah.
you need to work so that you can help the athlete be part of a system and
Yeah.
find the support through the community and not have to
Yeah.
like struggle figure out everything, because that's where people are giving up, and that's why the drop
Yeah.
rate is so high. Because people just don't
Yeah.
know how to do the marketing part, or don't know how to do the financial part, or don't know how to balance education and sports. And that's where an agent or a representative comes in,
Yes,
and can make
definitely.
the biggest difference, I think. So,
Yes. And especially these designations and these kind of jobs are very important to promote many more people in this sports industry, whether it's on like athletic basis or whether we talk about sports media or whether we talk about sports management. So these type of designations are very important for people for the job industry and promoting sports, especially in India, where the government hardly supports any other sports except the cricket.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's not just the money that you can make. That's what you have to understand.
Yeah.
It's about the athlete. I mean, just the sport and the valuing the game for its
Yeah.
own sake. And if more and more people can value the sport, then these media companies and everybody will also start,
Yeah.
investing in those values. So it's really about emphasizing on all these other aspects of an athlete's life and the sports aspect where they really need good so
Yeah.
like in India, like getting highlight videos, matches
Yeah.
is so difficult, and
Yeah.
that is one of the big most important things an athlete needs for
Yeah.
anything. So even starting with the basic things to all
Yeah.
everything else, to nutrition, mental health. Like imagine how many things. an athlete has to juggle on their own otherwise. That's one of the
Yes,
reasons it's difficult to be a professional athlete from India.
yeah. I think so. Pranav have played a very major role in backing you up, right?
Yeah, Siddharth and Pranav. I actually
Yeah,
met Sid in Madrid playing football. It was just
yeah,
randomly happened, and we talked and
yeah,
talked through COVID, and we realized that there was a lot of work to do, and there was a lot of
yeah.
potential. So now I'm happy. You guys should check out Village Sports at some point.
Yeah. And there's one question from the audience. It's this. Do you think about your future and where you may be then, or is it living your dream in the moment?
I do think about the future a lot,
Yeah,
in the sense of how can I, like this whole thing about living in the moment. I want to be doing this in the future, if that makes sense. That's what
yeah,
I think about. I think about how I can keep living and, living this so-called dream in the future. And maybe I won't be playing later, but if I
yeah,
can give back to the game. And I have other dreams kind of for the future in terms of where I'd like sports to go in India. So I'm hoping, and I'm hoping for yeah, those are my dreams for the future. But right now, definitely I'm living in the present as much as I can because I love it here and I'm trying to make the best out of my experience here.
yeah,
Does that answer your
definitely.
question?
And
Like, you know, don't give up on whatever your dreams are, but at the same time you have to understand what they come at a price, and make sure like you understand, like get don't get overexcited, and like just take one step at a time and question every
yeah,
part of it, and then you never know where that'll take you. But if you think about the outcome and the goal, in the
yeah,
process it becomes completely useless. So think about the process, and your
yeah,
outcome will be, you'll get places, you'll go places, but the journey and the process, critique that, question that, work on that, and that
yeah,
would be my message. Like work on
yeah.
what today, tomorrow, next week, not like, something next year because
Brishti, there's another very good question which has come up. Would you like to answer that?
yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah. So it's this. How does it feel pursuing your passion and dreams?
It feels really amazing. But again, I'd like to say, like, a lot of people look at it like, oh, now I'm living the dream. But at the
Yeah,
same time, like, I think for me, there's no really big difference between today and, last year, because honestly, it's the same. Like, I'm still training every day, I'm working really hard, I'm figuring
yeah,
out all these things. The difference is that I get to be here and learn from these people as opposed
yeah,
to running on my own and stuff. So that is amazing. And playing here and experiencing, this structure is one of my favorite things. And like being a kinesiology student, like there's so much to learn here. So that's my
yeah,
dream actually, is the fact that I'm learning so many cool things every day and I can wake up
yeah,
and be like, oh, I wonder what coach is going to do today. And, you're always
yeah,
excited about something. So that's,
yeah.
yeah. For me, that's, I'm hoping that continues and I can stay curious and excited about all these things as, as my career moves on. I don't want
Yeah.
to lose that hunger to learn because I think that's really what has brought me here.
Yes, absolutely. And I really hope some of them get to learn something or the other from you and gets inspired by your talks and everything. And it was lovely talking to you, Brishti. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming here and giving this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. I enjoyed the questions a lot, and sorry if I didn't answer them completely accurately. I tried my best.
No, no, you were
Thank
too
you so
good.
much.
Much for joining in,
Yeah,
and hope you have a good evening.
thanks. You too.
Okay, bye.